Hello and welcome to the very first LCK Discord podcast. My name is Jason. I'm going to be hosting it. And with me today I have Guardian, Bertz, and Cho. So, just to tell you a bit about myself, I've been following LCK since 2015, right before Worlds. Pretty much, I've been exclusively following like LCK is like my primary region since late last year when I switched to working midnights, and it works best for my schedule. I've been exclusively following like LCK is like my primary region. All right, I might have had double audio there, by the way. And yeah, so I'll take it off to Guardian now, who will tell you a bit about himself.
Hi, my name is Guardian, and I've been following LCK ever since mid-2013 spring. And I've been following the scene more exclusively than any regions as of 2016 spring. So yeah, and I'm one of the admins on the LCK Discord servers, and this podcast will be mainly talking about the LCK season as a whole, and we'll be talking about other topics such as Rugby the Split, and the Challenger Series in LCK, and also some other things like Gauntlet runs and the Telecom Wars this year. And that was my introduction, so I'll leave it off to Bertz now.
I'm Bertz. I started watching Korean League of Legends in 2015 from a recommendation from my brother, who also got me into League of Legends. He was a big SKT fan, so he made me watch all of our games, but I actually enjoyed watching KT more, so mostly because of Sunday. So I was a big fan, and I got into KT and really enjoyed them. Then they started to disappoint me, so I moved on and started like an ESC after a performance in the Casper Cup, and I got to see them perform at IEM, and since then I've been a fan of ESC/BBQ, and that was me. So I'll pass on to you, Cho.
I'm known as Cho on the LCK Discord. I have been following esports since a long time, since Quake, when Fatality was stomping kids way back in the day. I started watching Broodwater around the same time, and following League of Legends since what was the tournament called? It was World Cyber Games in 2010 with Kobe 24 and CLG, this legendary at Mumu. And I've been watching GoGN since the very first Invitational, I believe, was that Mig Frost one. My favorite player is Reaper. My favorite team is Zero Blaze. And I think that's about it.
Okay.
Damn.
Great. So I guess we'll just move right on to the first topic, which is LCK Summer 2017, which is like kind of broad. So pretty much we're just going to be going into what teams we thought were impressive, who we thought was not very impressive, like what happened so far in playoffs, Gauntlet, who we think is going to win tonight for the finals, and who we think will be the 3 seeds that will qualify for Worlds this year.
Alright, does anyone want to start first with what they think about the LCK season as a whole?
Well, I can go for sure. I was actually surprised by 4 teams, actually. Jin-Er, Yongzhou, MVP, and Afrika. Afrika was my biggest disappointment of the season. I expected them to do much better, especially after how much their coach was talking about, their hard work and how hard they're working towards doing well. Their playoff run was quite disappointing for me, and their split overall was pretty disappointing. So I wasn't very interested. They kind of dropped off for me. Spirit was underwhelming coming back from Europe. I expected much more as well coming back. I expected more of him. Jin-Er, I was pleasantly surprised by after them coming 9th, I believe, last split, and keeping the same roster. They made, I was quite happy with their run. I thought they did well. I would have liked to have seen them maybe do better in play. I would have liked to have seen them got into playoffs maybe, and more so than Afrika, especially towards the end of the split. Quite disappointing. Another disappointment I had was in MVP. MVP was quite disappointing. I thought they had much more potential, but apparently they just had none at all. Then Yongzhou was quite a surprise for me. I'm really glad at how they turned out. I really enjoy their gameplay. They're fun to watch. They've got a good, player base. They're active, they're fun, and I really enjoy them. That's about it for me, honestly. That was my sort of overview of the split, just the regular season.
I thought you had a good point about MVP. Like they looked so strong at the end of spring last year, sorry, and like this split, and then they just like tanked for like at least 5 weeks. Even after Rift Rivals, they kind of started to come back, but it definitely was like a lackluster what I expected from them. I definitely think that I kind of saw what you like Africa coming. Like it seems like they were trying to be a super team, and like it just wasn't gonna happen. I don't know.
What about you, Joe? What did you think of the LCK split overall?
I agree with you. I think that MVP was very disappointing. I think they overpeaked in spring, like really hard. I think if they played that split 9 out of 10 times, they will finish about the same as they did in summer. They just had a really lucky split. I don't really consider them to be a good team. They were very disappointing in summer. I expected more, but that's what it is. Africa as well. You know, they have a really good roster on paper, and with Isla Vu as their coach, you really expect them to do well. But I think if it wasn't for Kuro, they'd be in relegations. He really hard carried that team a lot of the times alongside Kramer. But the main highlight for me of the summer split was to see Longzhu climb from their pretty bad spring split finish. Kind of shows that paying your players money is really good, and it makes them do better. SKT slumping after MSI was also pretty interesting, and it kind of just confirms my thought process that the regular season doesn't matter. It's all about playoffs, and if you perform well in playoffs, then it doesn't matter how you finish in the regular season. Yeah, and that's about it. I think Jinner was also pretty disappointing. You kind of expect more from them, alongside MVP and Africa, but luckily for them, BBQ and Ever are in the league, so they didn't get relegated.
Jin Air also looked a lot better than last split though. Like in spring, they finished 9th or 10th. Like, I don't think they changed any of their roster, so it's pretty
exact same roster.
Yeah,
Same roster.
It is an improvement. Like I still agree. Like you think like typically we like to think of like the old guard orgs as being someone that you can consider as a top 4 team every split, but that just doesn't seem to be the case with like all this competition. And what do you guys think? Like for Longzhu, for example, why do you guys think like? What was the big change? Like, I know obviously Longzhu brought 3 new players in, but I don't think it was just obviously paying people was a big deal, but I don't think that was the sole reason on why they slumped in spring.
Guardian, do you want to start with this one as a person who's not a fan of big fan of Longzhu?
I mean, I like Longzhu as an org. It's just that all the bandwagoners can hop off their dicks, after tonight. But I think that the reason why Longzhu is doing well, in my opinion, I think it's because the 3 new players or whatever the subs they have that drive in them, like the rookie drive, where they just want to win and improve every single day and every single week. Unlike Expression, Crash, and Fly, like they were, I would say, veterans compared to the new players now, and you could see that last split they went at the top of the form in game. They were just a bit slumping in every now and then, and they were really inconsistent, just like Mickey. You don't know which version of Expression or Sky or Crash will show up that day, and it would just be a clusterfuck at the end of the spring split because you don't know what's going to happen. So being a Longzhu fan was a bit depressing for that 1.5 years for them. So I reckon the change with the three new players and the other subs, the rookie subs, I think that was good for the organization because that means Prey and Gorilla could also feel motivated in that Rocks Tigers sort of atmosphere sort of thing. Like they would all become that one bunch of noisy group and team, and they would all fuel each other's motivation to play and win the games and improve as a team. That was it.
What about you, Cho? What do you think of Longzhu's performance? What do you think was a key factor?
I think the fact that B Diddy and Cuz and Khan are just a lot more stable than the previous players that they have in their roster. I think they synergize really well. I think because people give him a bit too much shit. I think it performed really well, especially when you consider the jungle pool talent that there is in LCK. I just think that the roster synergizes a lot better than they did in Spring Split, and that was the big factor. And of course, Prey and Gorilla are a really good bot lane. So all of it just came together at the right time for them.
Yeah, agreed.
Would you agree with that as well, Jason?
Yeah, I'd say Prey and Gorilla. Honestly, it's kind of hard to say. Like, like with BDD, like BDD really impressed me all split. But Prey and Gorilla, like if you look at them from spring to summer, they definitely more look like Rocks Tigers Prey and Gorilla than Longzhu Prey and Gorilla, which is like, and it definitely feels like they're almost like the spiritual successor to the old Rocks Tigers lineup, where they really seem to have like that same kind of, you can't do something because we will punish you with our all-out aggression that most other Korean teams don't really like have. They win the game through superior macro, where like like generally Longzhu still has great macro, but they really like to just pummel you. Especially like other than KT, I'd say they have the best early game in LCK, which is like frightening to think about.
Was there anyone surprised at the stand results then for them to be at the top? Or was there anyone who kind of expected another team to take the top position in LCK for regular season?
I mean, to be fair, expecting much from Jin Air, but they made that mid-tier kind of a turnaround where they just started, so they just played absolute trash going on in there. But they've got some good players. I think that if they fix their infrastructure, you need to fix a top tier team once again, and not like a mid slumping team like the Rocks Tigers are now. And my expectations for this summer split was that I expected, as usual, Samsung, SKT, or KT to be top 3, but I think Longzhu kind of made the big turnaround for us all, and I was kind of surprised to see them actually surge to first place out of nowhere like that, because I wasn't expecting them to even make the top 3. I knew they were going to go to playoffs with that roster for the first 3 weeks. They were pretty consistent and good, but I wasn't expecting them to make the top 3 for the regular season finish.
What about you, Cho? What do you think of the final stands of the LCK regular season? Were you surprised by Yongsu, like Guardian was? Or did you sort of have a feeling in your gut that this roster would be the one to take first place?
I think everyone was impressed by Longzhu, honestly. Like, it's really interesting that they managed to finish first place. I think it's mainly due to the fact that SKT and KT just slumped really hard. Well, KT didn't slump, they choked in important matches. But yeah, they were definitely surprised a lot of people, including myself. I expect them to make playoffs, maybe top 5, but not first place, definitely. They're a really, really interesting team to watch.
Do you also agree with the sentiment then, Jason, that Yongzhu were quite a surprise?
Yeah, when I saw they were making, first when I saw that Crash left to go to, I think it was LSPL, but he went to China, I know that. And then Expression was just not on the roster, and then that Fly was going to NA to play on Gold Coin United. I was like, yeah, this team just, there's nothing they could do. And then like starting BDD was like, BDD looked like pretty good on CJ, but them signing him in January and not having him play the entire spring split made me kind of realize like maybe that he just isn't like that great really. Like obviously there's a reason they're not playing him. And then Cuz was a rookie, and then Khan has played since 2014. Has never had good results really. Like he's never been in any international events or anything like that. So I didn't expect much. I expected KT to come first this split, actually. I thought they were looking pretty good at the end of the split last year until SKT just like wiped the floor with them pretty much. And I thought that they would be like KT Summer, but it clearly didn't happen. I'm also pretty overall disappointed by Samsung. You'd think that they being such a successful, super successful in the last year and a half, I guess, but they are definitely like one of the top 4 teams in the last year. And even after Worlds last year, I was expecting a lot from them, and it just did not deliver, really.
What about, well, we'll move on to playoffs then. Did you expect SKT to so far have swept Africa, swept Samsung, and then, beat KT? We'll start off with Africa versus SKT. Jason, what did you think of that series overall?
I thought it was easy 2-0. Like, SKT playoff. There's no way that Africa was going to win that. Like, I thought Kuro actually really impressed me this split. I never really thought Kuro was that great. I always thought he was the weak point of the Rocks Tigers. But he put up really impressive stats for the whole year. Like, I did not think that he was any part of what made Rox Tigers what they were. I thought they won their top, they won their bot, they won their having like whoever the different junglers they had throughout their tenure be able to snowball the top and bot lane, and then Kuro just not die pretty much. But he definitely proved to be a pretty big threat on Africa. But I didn't think that would be enough because Spirit and Mowgli were swapping out like really inconsistently, and as well just I didn't think like I thought that they did a pretty good job on their bot lane too. I thought they would be the weakest part, but I definitely thought that their top side of the map was the worst. And even though that even though SKT is having problems with their top side, I thought it wouldn't be a contest at all.
What about you, Cho? What did you think about series? Were you surprised by V2, or did you expect Africa to even take one game?
No, like Africa are pretty bad. Their top side of the map is basically inting, and that series they inted really hard. It was basically Kuro and Yellow Hell in both games, and Kramer played really well in the second game. It's just I don't know what's with that team. Maybe being a new coach or just something else. It's just really isn't working for them, and it kind of sucks because you have a lot of players that are supposed to be really good when you look at the names, but I don't know. Maybe time has caught up to them. They just aren't that good anymore, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's how the game works.
And would you agree with the sentiment that Africa would get 2-0 Guardian? Were you all on the SKT 2-0 hype train?
I mean, the moment I saw Jine beat Africa, I was like, okay, this is over for Africa because Smeb is like AFK for, 7 weeks of the season, I think, or more than that. It looks like he was playing an LGD, to be honest. He was 1v9ing the whole time. But instead of 1v9ing, he was actually just inting straight up in top lane and just doing his best, I guess, for this year. And I felt like Tucson and Kramer was actually like 2v8 in most cases with Kuro. Switched Kramer out every now and then. Tucson and Kuro, I think they played their minds out during that KT game a few weeks back, and they wanted to get that inch of the advantage towards playoffs. But I mean, if you got an inconsistent jungler with Mowgli and Spirit, I don't think you can do much anymore because those two, I feel like those two junglers, it's hard when you have two inconsistent junglers because I mean, Spirit, he can be really good when he can be really good, but the next day he can just be really fucking bad. It's like I can't watch him anymore in one full game because you don't know which version of Spirit's going to show up. Like I'm just hoping the Samsung Blue Spirit or WE Spirit will show up, but then instead you get the Fnatic Spring Spirit showing up, and then you get the Africa Spring Spirit showing up. Like it's just a clusterfuck for them. And I mean, I wish the best for the organization because they've got a pretty stacked roster. But I mean, if you don't have consistent plays in your key roles, that the ones that can enable your main carries, then I think it's pretty much over for now, and just go next and practice and get better.
Well, who would you guys elect as your MVP for those two series? For that series versus Africa. We'll start with you, Jason. Who would be your MVP in that series and why?
I actually missed watching that series. I was in Montreal for a concert, so I cannot comment on that.
Fair enough. Guardian, Who would you say your MVP for that series is?
The SKT and Africa series?
Yep.
I don't really know who to give the MVP of that. I don't want to be biased towards the AD carry role again, but I mean, I think I just have to pass for this one because I wasn't really looking at the wildcard matches thoroughly.
Well, we'll say Bang for Guardian because his profile picture and his name is Son of Warrior Bang. So
fuck yeah.
Chill, who would you say your MVP for that series is?
I'd say Marn. He carried SKT pretty hard.
It took him 2 years to do that again. Holy shit.
Yeah, too bad he was on the wrong team. But no, seriously, I think it was Wolf or Bang. I think they played really well. Wolf's blitzcrank in the second game was really good.
Yeah, it was
very good.
Personally, for me, it would also be I can almost English. Wolf. His blitzcrank game 2 was legitimately so good. I was just watching it like, wow, I wish I could play blitzcrank this well. I have dreams about playing blitzcrank that well one game in silver. But yeah, fair enough. So next, this is a series that I know Guardian's very passionate about.
Oh, fuck.
the SKT versus Samsung Galaxy series. So
It's like my deathbed.
we'll save Guardian for last on this one because I know Guardian has a lot to say about it. So we'll start with you this time, Chill.
No, you start, because then we'll go in a circle, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll start. Okay. Samsung Galaxy. Okay. I have respect for Samsung, right? Huge amount of respect for Samsung. They rebuilt rosters. They did well. They went to Worlds. They did well. And then they come to the spring split. Fair enough. They don't do the best. They come to summer. And then there's playoffs. And you know what they do? They choke this big bag of dicks. Like, I mean, it was impressive. Like, I thought I was watching KT play. See if you can't even make SKT bring out blank. Do you even deserve to be in playoffs? Like, you know, I look at it. They lost 3 games to SKT with Peanut. Wait, did blank play game 3? Versus Samsung?
No.
No,
Yeah.
just Peanut all 3.
Okay, it was Peanut all 3. You can't even force them to bring out Peanut. You can't even force them to bring out blank. That's just tragic. You know, they've had this guy sitting on the bench for 3 games, studying what you're doing, with his coach telling him about what we're doing. And then all of us, you know, they don't even need to bring him out. That's how hard you got your ass beat. It was the Faker show the entire game. And honestly, Faker just smashed Crown. Like, there's no way about it. If I have to give an MVP to that series, I'm going to give it to Crown and the Samsung Galaxy coaching stuff. Because honestly...
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, legitimately.
I gotta agree.
They just... Like, how did they prepare for this series? What did they do? Did they eat peanuts preparing for the series? Did they just sit there and eat peanuts? Oh, this is a hard counter. This is a hard counter. We're good, guys. We're good. You know, it was pretty pathetic, honestly. Very disappointed in Samsung Galaxy. So, yeah. I don't want to move on next then to
Yeah, sure. Do you have anything to bring onto that? Because I got some more things.
Like, I expected more from Samsung when you looked like they beat SKT in the first week, and you were like, hey, that's pretty good. And then this happens, and you're like, why would you start Haru over Ambition? It just makes no sense to me. I don't know what the coaching staff was thinking. That's like the biggest question mark for me. And then like Samsung players got so tilted in game 3, they had to swap out their bot lane, which is really amusing. And then like they put in Ambition game 3. Like, I don't know what the coaching staff was doing. Just really bizarre.
What about you then? Jason, what did you think of it?
I thought so. Samsung 4-0'd SKT in the regular season. I thought if they're gonna be a Worlds team, they have to show some amount of like resilience here, and they got shit stomped. It was embarrassing. The only game that even like remotely held up was game 2, which was honestly like really close, and then they just like rolled over and died in the middle of the game, and then like the coaching staff was just like, we're so fucked, we have no idea what to do, and they just swapped out 3 players. Starting Haru for the first 2 games makes no sense. Ambition played more games than him this split. He did a better job this split. Why would you start him against ultimately your biggest opponent for the whole like playoff run? I thought Crown played like dog shit. Kuvi is might as well just like, he only plays tanks, and like that's, they just like, okay, he played I think like double what most other people played on Maokai. Let me see here, one sec. Kuve played 20 games on Maokai this split, which I think the next closest in the top like 3 top lanes was none of the other top 3 top laners even played Maokai in their top champions. So if you're on a champion that you can exclusively pretty much just be a frontline, and you can't even like do that, I don't know. They have to do something. Like from Worlds last year, I was really impressed by Samsung. I thought they'd do well this year because they weren't changing their roster. I thought they were shoo-ins to win spring, and then they did not, and they can't do playoffs. Is what like they can do amazing in regular season and just coast to Worlds every year, but that they need to switch something up. And I don't know. Like definitely has to start with the coaching staff, I'd say. But
so, who would you all react as MVP? Jason, since you just finished, we'll start with you. Who would you have said was MVP of that series?
I'd say like Wolf has been amazing on SKT over playoffs as a whole. They the story. He starts up a lot of fights. I don't think that they'd even like come out of nowhere, and he makes critical game-saving plays. So I'd say Wolf probably.
What about you, Guardian? What would you say was your MVP for that series?
I would honestly say Wolf too. He showed. I really like. I don't know what it's about like with the Samsung bot lane, but I feel like Wolf just disabled the whole bot lane for all 3 series. Like the way he played the game was really well done, and I think the SKT's bot lane was doing fairly well against the Samsung bot lane. It's to be expected anyway, but I mean, yeah, I have to give it a Wolf for that playoffs series.
And what about you, Cho? Who would have your MVP have been?
The Samsung coaching staff.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to say Faker of the
Yeah.
Samsung coaching staff, honestly. I think Faker
Yeah.
did pretty much out of his mind abusing the fuck out of Crown. Okay. Crown actually just got wore like a fucking hat. Like, if there was no question, Faker wore him like the crown he's going to wear after he beat, in the finals here. There's,
Yeah, go ahead.
I would give it to Faker as a legitimate one, and Samsung Galaxy's coaching staff as a troll pick.
Yeah, but serious, I'd give it to Bank. I think this Kalista was really good. Like, really, really good in 2 games that he got it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, his third game was really good on Kalista, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next series, man. SKT, once again, playing the SKT game. This time versus KT. We'll start with you, y'all. Well, I'll start actually, right? KT versus SKT. I had hope. I was a boy with hope, I was thinking, KT, I was like, maybe we'll take a game, maybe we'll take 2 games, I didn't think they'd win the series. Honestly, I had no point did I think KT was going to win the series. But whenever they first took those first 2 games, I was excited. I was excited for KT. And that's when I made my first mistake. I believed in KT. And now I understand how all the KT fans feel in the world. They feel cucked. They get cucked by SKT every single fucking time. And it's brutal. I think that SKT's combination of this, sub out Peanut in a game 3 when they've had Blank watching 2 games just fucks over so many teams. It's insane. This Blank Puma combo is just too good. Like, they came into game 3 so much better than the rest of the games. Blank just was reading score like an open book. It was insane. I just think that Blank played that very well. I think the strategy that SKT have of subbing in Blank in game 3, whenever we're 2 down or something, where we've had Blank study 2 games, is just going to either carry them through playoffs and inwards, or basically I don't think SKT will drop a series as long as they can keep doing this. I think it's just too strong of a strategy for them. What about you, Joe? What did you think of that series between KT and SKT?
Man, I don't know. KT just feels bad, man. It's like, I don't even know what to say. You just gotta feel bad for him at this point. But it's like, I don't know. Like, as you said, the Blank Peanut thing, where Blank just sits on the bench, watches the game, then comes in, is just really, really strong for SKT. Like that last game, game 5, Score got abused. Like, he literally got abused at his jungle. The poor guy couldn't do anything. That was like a great example of how to counter a Zac jungle, you just completely deny his pathing and the ability to gank. But like, I was never worried for SKT this series. Like, I'm never worried for SKT until like the Nexus goes down in game 3, and then I'm like, okay, SKT lost. But up until that point, like, I was never worried for SKT to lose this series, because I think they're just too good of a team. The Peanut Blank combo is really, really strong. With Kokoma, Carter, and Rapistar analyzing the games, it just gives an edge that other teams don't have. That's what makes them really strong, in my opinion.
What about you, Jess? What was your opinion?
I thought KT was gonna win. I thought this was their series for them. I thought that a fact that SKT's top lane looks so bad that Smeb would just abuse like whoever was playing, which is gonna be Unitara for the rest of the playoffs. It seems like Huni just does not seem to be relevant anymore to SKT. They just like go play bot games. I thought that Smeb and Score would just take advantage of their questionable top side of the map. I thought that as long as Deft didn't like get caught, which he did, that he would outplay Bang. Deft played really well for majority of summer, except for just randomly when he just get caught and lose his team the game, which I definitely thought was a possibility. I thought Mata played amazing over the over the series, but it just wasn't enough. Obviously, like the first two games were not close. Like KT like demolished them, and then as soon as Blank came in, it's like it just demoralized them. It just game 3, I guess, just like tilted them so hard that they just couldn't recover, which I thought was kind of. You'd think a big org like KT would be able to have the kind of backbone to just say it's just one game, bounce back, you got this, easy, you go to Worlds, and it didn't happen. So overall, pretty disappointed. I still have hope that Longshu is going to win tonight, but I think that again, the Blank rotation just seems to be too strong.
What about you, Guardian? What was your opinion on that series?
I mean, it's already obvious that the Blank and Peanut strategy is just renowned around the world now. The Will of B meme and all these bangy things going on. It's just way too strong for SKT at this point. Just put in Peanut for the first 2 games, and then Blank just sweeps whatever the fuck he needs to do tonight to win an LCK tonight. I think Blank as a jungler has improved so much from last year, and I'm not sure if you guys read the article about how Wolf said to Koma about how Blank's pathing and jungling was just beyond this world and beyond solo queue, because wherever Wolf would be when he was jungling, Blank would always be there and killing him and taking his camp and just disabling Wolf in the whole entire solo queue game, which is pretty impressive, I reckon. And I think that Blank doesn't feel that pressure anymore of being the starting position as of last year again. So I think that's good that he's taking a resting mentality like that, and then just if the team needs him, then he really needs to step up his game instead of feeling pressured like last year again, so he doesn't choke again, and he can just clean sweep for SKT. But to touch on the top lanes, I reckon top lane is definitely SKT's weak position, the weakest position this year in my opinion, by far. I mean, Huni in spring, yeah, okay, he was, he showed up and he said that I can play tanks, I don't need to play carries because fuck the carries, put me on tank, whatever I need to do to win the games for SKT, and that was pretty cool to watch. And then Untara comes in summer split, and I thought I was getting all hyped up about him because of the CJ old days, but I thought he would be really consistent. But there was some games where he would just fall off, like Huni did. But the best thing about Untara and Huni is that Untara is a more modified version of Huni, I would say, because he gets camped, he dives to ganks, but he's still able to provide what he needs to do for the team to win. So he's like that team player that can actually pull through the end of the line and make the game-winning play or whatever he needs to do for SKT to win. And that's pretty good for a trade for SKT by itself, because I have confidence in the bot lane with Wolf and Bang. And I think in that SKT versus KT semifinals, the biggest, like Cho said, you don't spend too much time worrying about SKT because they will just fuck up your favorite teams at the end of the day, and they'll just win everything again. So it's really pointless to worry about SKT. And for tonight's predictions, I reckon, it's going to be clean 3-0 for SKT. I'm so sorry for Longzhu fans, but I feel like the Longzhu rookies and Khan will just start choking with the high pressure conditions and environment they'll be playing in. It's evident because history has repeated itself where rookies go up in big playoff stages and they just start shitting themselves completely. And this is a team where you have 2 old veterans and 2 rookies, and I wouldn't say Khan's a rookie. But to the LCK as of now, I would consider him as like a semi-rookie, if that's the word you want to use. So there's nothing to worry about it for Longzhu. Actually, it's just that I feel Cuz might be abused by the SKT junglers, because people have been saying that Cuz is he's overrated, and I wouldn't say he's overrated just because he has strong laners. I mean, I guess he fits into the category of being normal in a way. He's not overrated, nor is he underrated to be a jungler for Longzhi and all that. He does his job to enable his team. He does all these things for his team so they can actually, take objectives and win the game around the map and do all these macro plays and micro plays. But the one thing that reminds me when I watch of Cuz is I get reminded of Ambition during Worlds 2016 because, mate, Cuz and Ambition, they have that one thing in common where they just invade the enemy jungle. They just go in there with no fucking pushing lanes, right? And they get fucking shat on in the 2v1 or whatever they need to, whatever happens to them. I feel like this is just a repeat of every single few weeks or so. Ambition does that. I mean, Cuz also does that every now and then. And it's quite stressful to watch because if you got strong laners like that and then you end up fucking yourself up in the jungle by invading too far, I mean, your lane is gonna have a hard time just responding to that when his lane is being pushed in. And I feel like Cuz should control himself because SKT will punish these mistakes more than the other teams will because they're really good at doing that things. So yeah, that was it.
Well, we'll quickly cover as well our MVPs for that series. Jason, do you want to start who your MVPs for that series was?
It was, I would say it was definitely Blank. Like, he saved them, like, full out. Like, they were definitely screwed. If Peanut played Game 3, they would have lost. So I'd say Blank for sure.
Would you agree with that sentiment, Joe? Would you say Blank?
Yeah, I'd say Blank or Wolf. I think they both played great. Like, Wolves or Khan and Blitz were really good. Like, his Blitz once again being really good. And Kokoma as well, of course, and the coaching staff of SKT, utilizing the double jungle strategy quite effectively.
I think Wolf might be the best Rakan in the world, also.
Yeah,
It's flawless. It's flawless.
What would you say, Guardian? Who was your MVP of that series?
I mean, I wouldn't say Blank because he's already getting an auto-qualified MVP for that clean sweep. Besides the coaching stuff, I'll probably give it to the bot lane of SKT for playing so well in games 3, 4, and 5, and especially Wolf, I reckon, because yeah, his Blitzcrank and his Rakan was just insane, and he goes in and then Def just disappears in like about 3 seconds. So I guess that was pretty cool to watch and fun for me to watch.
I would personally as well say, well, obviously Blank and Kuma and the SKT staff are underqualified, but I would also go with Wolf. I think some of his engagers were very good, catching out Def in the mid lane quite a few times actually, especially on Sivir as well. Yeah, no, I would also give it to Wolf, honestly. Yeah. The last series, the finals, the grand finals, Longzhi versus SKT.
Okay.
Let's hear your predictions first, and then I'll go into your reasons why. I actually think it'll be a 5-game series where SKT will come out once again. What about you, Joe?
I'm gonna say SKT 3-1.
I think Longzhu 3-2.
And Guardian?
I mean, I'll eat my own words if I somehow curse this, but I'm going for that 3-0 with SKT. Not because of the bandwagon or whatever the hell you guys want to call it, just because of the rookie situation that I believe will just repeat itself every single playoff stage or every single big stage where the rookies just start choking. And then Prey and Gorilla will just, I mean, I trust them with the way they make the calls, but I mean, it will get to the point where it will just, you can't handle anymore, and they'll just start choking themselves in the bot lane, and then it will affect the other roles again. So I believe it'll be 3-0 with or without Blank.
Okay. Well, Jason, what's your reasons behind your prediction?
I think that even though they got this whole rookie mentality going into it, like Cuz and Khan, and even BDD effectively are all rookies, but
yeah,
Prey and Gorilla are just going to be rocks, I think. I think they are going to pull them through whatever like kind of rookie tendencies you guys think they're going to have. I thought BDD...
That's what I'm hoping for, yeah.
I thought BDD played out of his mind this year. I think he is going to show Faker that essentially that he is the best mid this summer for sure. Like, the only questionable area for me is Longzhu's jungle, obviously, because for a rookie season has played amazing, and getting seeded on like a first place team isn't easy to like. It's big shoes to fill, and he's comparing with Score and Peanut and Blank. Like, two of those are world champions, and Score is one of the oldest tenured players of all time. Of course, he's going to look like garbage compared to them, but he's still really, really good. And I think the gap of Score to Peanut is Cuz to Peanut is relatively the same, where Blank has a slight edge, but Khan's edge over the top lanes on SKT is so big that they will win topside, and that's the only questionable side of the map for me. I think mid will be very dominant for BDD. He had amazing stats all year. He played everything that was like he'd play anything pretty much for the team. Like he'd play tank, he'd play AP, he'd play AD. He played a signature Zed, which although wasn't great over the year, he still was able to role fill, which a lot is like a lot of it came into their wins. And then Prey has definitely looked like the undisputably best ADC this season, I think. Even though Deft has a lot better numbers, he single-handedly lost his team a lot of games where I thought Prey single-handedly changed a lot of games and won them in his favor. So I think like it's not going to be easy, but I definitely see them winning tonight.
What about you, Cho? What's behind your prediction?
Same thing as Guardian. I just think the rookie factor is a bit too much for Longy to overcome. And like the top set of the map is a big question mark for me. I don't think Cuz has been like battle or anything. Like he's been really good, but like at this big of a stage with thousands of watching online and thousands of the audience, it's going to be really hard. Like I don't want to say Longy can't win. Like the big thing that they have over SKT is preparation. Which if you watch StarCraft, you would know that like if pros play like a bunch of games on the same day or like one day with another, then they would struggle. They wouldn't do as well. But like you give the pro a week, and he would like absolutely crush the other player because preparation is really important. Like SKT played 8 games, Longzhu played 0. That's really crucial for Longzhu. They can use this counting information, and utilize it properly. And if their top set of the map does well, I do think Longzhu can win it. But I just think it's going to be really hard for them.
I actually don't think that they'll suffer from rookie pressure that a lot of people think they are. I actually don't think they'll lose due to rookie pressure. Honestly, I think they can handle the fact that this is the finals, but they're in for sure that they will do well in the gauntlet. Like, who's really going to stop them in the gauntlet? Samsung Galaxy look like a trash can on fire, pretty much.
MVP.
MVP are not going to stop Yongzhu in the gauntlet. Right? Yongzhu, I don't think the rookies will actually occur because, you're going to the finals. Sure, there's a bit of pressure behind that. But they know that if they go into the gauntlet anyway, they're going to smash they're going to either smash or do very well against favourite teams in there. I think SKT will just beat them from experience, honestly. Even with this Peanut Blank combination. I think if they can keep Cuz under control, it's not a case of SKT beating Cuz. I think the top side, in terms of Khan, will just smash on Tara or Hune. I don't think Hune's that good anymore. Like, it's not that I think he's dropped off. Without all these resources being poured into him and all this attention, I don't think he's anywhere near as good. Ontara is a good role player, sure, but Khan has the mechanics, if you know what I mean. He has the skill, he has the flashy plays. So I think he'll go the whole way to 5 games. And I do think SKT will win just from the experience alone. I feel like they've been in more game 5s than pretty much any team. And they're used to the pressure. I think they'll just take it based on experience alone. But I'd love to see Longzhu win it just for the storyline of it.
And deny KT from Worlds. That's it.
And yeah, pretty much.
So assuming SKT wins tonight because it's the it is the more probable, I guess, like statistically option.
Yeah.
So KT would be 2nd seed. And Gauntlet would be Longzhu, Samsung Galaxy, MVP, and Afrika. And that being the case, who do you guys think is going to be the 3rd seed?
For Worlds?
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, I want to say Samsung really badly. Like, I just want them to show the fuck up and get that Gauntlet playoffs buff. But I mean, if you go 0-9 in playoffs, and then you go 3-2 in Gauntlet, I think, in the past 2 or 3 years. With Longzhu being like the final boss in Gauntlet, I think it's gonna be pretty hard for Samsung to do anything. I mean, that game, I think it was the last game of this regular season between Longzhu and Samsung. Watching that was kind of heartbreaking in a way because you're expecting Samsung to just show the fuck up, but then instead 2015 Chibe showed up, and then Brazil Crown showed up, and then Challenger Series ruler showed up. So like a really big question mark towards the Samsung squad right there. But I want to say Samsung, but I think Longzhi will take it.
I would agree with that sentiment. I think Longzhi will come first. Samsung Galaxy don't seem to know what they're doing, honestly.
I mean, they're literally headless chickens. You just put them in the Summoner's Rift 5v5, and they're just gonna fucking enter down mid. It's just so stressful to watch at this point. You don't know which version of Samsung will show up. They're such a wild card team.
It feels like unless Cuvée is literally dragging for dead corpse around, we're just gonna keep getting beat with a stick, honestly. Every team is just gonna beat the shit out of Samsung Galaxy, honestly. So I'm going to say that it will be SKT, KT, and Longzhi that will go to Worlds.
I wouldn't say Africa would beat Samsung, in my opinion, because if you put those two together, then you're basically watching a wildcard match already, because those two teams are so inconsistent. And I think that Samsung will have the upper edge just because they've got that, I don't know what it is, maybe that consistency in the jungle more so than Africa. I just don't want to see Haru being played the first game. I want to see Ambition because of his veteran style and his shot calling and all that. And please, whatever you fucking do not put the fucking B team bot lane into Samsung ever again for that third game, because that was so tilting to watch. And okay, that's it for me.
This is a point where Africa freeze. I feel like Kuro at this point, like if I feel like Kuro would just carry Rosses versus Samsung Galaxy. Honestly, yeah.
I feel like that's gonna happen too.
Yeah, like that's the only reason why. Like MVP, I don't think would beat the shit out of Samsung Galaxy. Just to clarify that, but
didn't Samsung get 2-0 by an MVP?
I'm pretty sure they did, but
was it 2-0 or 2-1? Yeah,
it was 2-1. It was 2-1. In round 2, they got 2-1.
I just want to clarify that I think Africa would beat Samsung Galaxy. Honestly. Yeah, just because Kuro will just drag from around and carry Rosses pretty much. But yeah, Chu, what do you think of who will be the third seed of Korea going into Worlds?
I do think that Africa will beat MVP in the first round because MVP is a meme team. As I said, they just overpeaked in spring really hard. They're not particularly good. And then in round 2, if Samsung doesn't fix their shit, if the coaching staff if the coaching staff suddenly grows a brain, then Samsung could beat Africa Freaks. But otherwise it's just going to be really hard. I don't know. Samsung is such a weird team. It wouldn't surprise me if they put Ambition in the jungle and the Haru mid, just for the shits. But if Samsung gets their shit together, they could beat Africa and then they could beat Longzhi. But the way it stands currently, I just think Longzhi's going to take the last seed for Korea for Worlds.
What about you, Jason? Do you agree with that as well?
I think the top 3 teams in Korea look so much above anybody in the gauntlet. Longzhi, KT, and SKT look so much better than Samsung, MVP, and Africa. There's no chance for any other team to make it. Samsung clearly look like the 4th team. You can tell that they are better than what's below them, except for I guess MVP. Yeah.
Fuck.
But
Herbs.
You can Herbs. No, you can tell that they are definitely better than the other LCK teams, but they can't do that last push to put them into the top echelon, and it won't be enough. And they need to seriously, and also they just might be permanently tilted from SKT just destroying them. If they can't be Peanut, they can't qualify for Worlds. And it'll be, I think, regardless of who wins LCK summer, it'll be KT, Longzhi, and SKT going to Worlds.
Okay. Do we want to move on to who our rookie of the split will be?
Yeah, next topic. Let's go.
Interesting. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think we should do the classic LCS style. Rookie of the split, our coach, and then our MVP. So I should. Do we want to start with you, Guardian? Tell us who your rookie of the split is, who your coach of the split is, and who your player of the split is. MVP, sorry.
For MVP, I reckon, I wouldn't say Mowgli, because Spring, yeah, he was good, but Summer, what the fuck are you doing, mate? You're just going to the jungle and then just dying, and then you're so inconsistent, it's actually quite frustrating to even support Africa in those matches, because it's just crazy, Mowgli is just such a wild card. I know he's young and all that, he has a lot of room to grow with, and he has potential, more so than the other lower tier LCK players, of course. But Mowgli is definitely off, not on my list. Let's see. I think the ever 8 winners, the rookies, Malrang, Scepter, Duel, and Kin. I mean, Malrang, yeah, he was so hyped up. You know, people called him the second Faker at one point. But then the moment ever 8 winners went under the bus, they were like, all right, Malrang is just, you know, he's okay. Maybe he is just one of those players, one of those unlucky players like CJ last year, where he's in a bad team or bad organization, and then maybe if you put him on a good team, he could be like the what the fuck factor to win the tournament or something. Same goes with Septed. I reckon those two, Malrang and Septed, are pretty decent players overall, individually and mechanically, of course. But I feel like they kind of lack in that team environment and that synergy, and also, you know, they need to get better at playing as a team and revolving around
OCE internet.
Where's that OCE internet kicking in?
OCE internet.
Is that the OC internet? I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, lads. Hold on.
Hello.
Is it better now?
Yeah, you're good,
internet.
dude.
Sorry, lads. Okay. And I think Kin, the top laner that replaced Helper in ever 8 winners, I mean, he's pretty... I wouldn't say he's godlike, but he's pretty fucking good, you know? Just joining in halfway between the split, I reckon, I think. And he kind of contested some of the best top laners in LCK for a bit, but it's just that they can never close out a series, they can never close out a game. It's just because of his other teammates just being dead-ass heavy teammates. So I would give it to Kin if he played more games, but I wouldn't give it to him as of now. He hasn't really proven it consistently throughout one split. And now moving on to Longzhu's Cuz. Well, yeah, okay. I feel like he's a one-trick Kazakhstan Elise back then, but I mean he's proven some of us wrong. Like, he can play other champions and all that. He can play for the team, and yeah, I think he's like the only rookie in LCK right now that's actually played all games for Longzhu. Is that right, or am I wrong?
Yeah, he played all summer.
Yeah, he played all summer.
Yeah, and now moving on to Rox Tigers, Kuro and Lava. I think Lava, I believe, is SKT Taehoon back then, like the trainee. I watched one of the series with Rox, and he did pretty well in that game. But I wouldn't give Rookie of the Split to someone who just joined halfway through the split. I think that means Cuz is automatically the Rookie of the Split for me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Guardian is please cheer for EW, yeah?
Yeah.
Please cheer for I'm Kim, guys. Holy shit.
Joe, what about yourself? Who's your MVP? Oh, Guardian, you didn't give us coach. Who's your
Well, do
Oh,
rookies.
that's right.
No, do rookies all first, and then we'll do
Yeah.
coach,
Okay,
and then we'll
okay.
do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joe? Who's
so-
your?
So for me, it's like Cuz, no question, no contest. Like, people forget that he's only 17 years old. He already hit rank 1 in the Korean ladder, and you know, he like boxed with the best junglers in the world, like Score, Ambition, and Blank, and other quality junglers like Beyond, Peanut, and Spirit. Well, Spirit. So I think he's had a really good split when you consider the quality of the jungle pool in the league. He's just miles and above everyone else. Like, an honorable mention will be Malrang. I think Malrang has had a pretty good split, considering that Ever has been a dumpster fire. Like,
Yeah.
like, they started off pretty good. I think their first week was pretty decent, but then they just like inted the entire split, which is a shame, because I think he's quite a talented young player that could do really well in the future. He just needs to get a better team. And who else is Lava? I think Lava's garbage. I think Lava's like really bad. I think he's like a support that swapped into mid. And like, when you take
Yeah,
that
he
into
was. Yep.
when you take that into consideration, he isn't playing bad, but that's like not saying much. I think he's probably the worst mid laner in the LCK, rivaled only by someone like Temp. And there's also Scepted. Like, Scepted started off really well, much like Ever, but then he was like really bad the entire season. So like, the only obvious choice for me is Cuz. Like, he's been really good this split and played really well considering the jungle pool.
And what about you, Jason?
I kind of touched upon it when I was talking about why I think Longzhu is going to win summer, but Cuz, by all standards, has been a fantastic jungler. In my opinion, he actually did better than Crash, who played last split, and Crash played with more consistent like veterans, and like they have more of like an actual what's the word I'm trying to use? Like backing, like they have like a mental fortitude, they have everything, and they definitely performed worse. So him coming in his first pro team, his first like completely new roster, and actually showing up was pretty impressive to me. I thought that again, like Malgrang and Septa did pretty good at the beginning of the season. I'm hoping they'll just kind of be like what happened on CJ last year, and that they all split up and find decent teams, and like we get like a new BDD or something like that would be really, really cool. But I don't really know if that's going to happen. It's pretty hit or miss watching those games, because the first 2 or 3 weeks they looked all right, and then after that they just looked like they did not improve at all, and that's not really at rookie at the split material. So it's kind of like no question for Cuz.
I'm also on the same boat of Cuz, honestly. He impressed me. For normally people who get top laners and mid laners that can keep pressure for that long decide to enter the enemy jungle quite a lot, and he didn't basically die as much as I thought he would. I thought he'd make a lot more rookie mistakes, and he didn't, so he impressed me quite a lot. Septed, I had faith in, but he disappointed me. So honestly, Cuz without a competition was the rookie of the split for me, honestly.
All right, so we'll do coach second, and I guess MVP last.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not know like the actual. I'd say we just do coaching staff as a whole, let alone individual coach names, because generally, generally teams have an entire coaching staff, more than just one person. So just break it down with that.
So I'll start. I think the best coaching staff this season, this LCK, the MVP coaching staff would probably be, I want to say Samsung for letting me down every single fucking week because of how garbage Edgar really is. I mean, I wouldn't say he's garbage coach, but holy shit, he's been really pissing me off lately with all these drafts and subbing in B team. But seriously, I would probably give it to a toss-up between Longzhu and SKT. SKT did have that 4-game lose streak after Rift Rivals, but if you take into account with playoffs and all that things happening, I reckon SKT utilized their subs really well. But for Longzhu, I think Hirai did pretty well too, and his analysts. I mean, if you're able to pick up a team that was 6th, I believe, or 5th in the spring, 6th in spring
7th.
split. Oh, 7th, really? Okay,
Yeah.
7th in spring split, and then you're able to get in, one rookie and Big Ding Dong in the mid lane right there, and then Khan in the top lane, and then you're able to make them go from 7th place to 1st place in a matter of 4-5 months, I think. I think that's a pretty big accomplishment for the organization itself, because it takes a toll on you, if you're working with new people and you have to shape these rookies. If you have to shape one rookie and a semi-rookie into a really good team like this, and it's pretty cool to see how consistent Longzhu has been with the new coaching staff. So I'm just glad that the old coach left. So yeah,
To be fair,
I have to give it to Longzhu then.
the old coach was Song, and he only left because he
Yeah.
wasn't getting paid. So
It's true. I'm just glad though that happened.
yeah, you're glad he didn't get paid. That's nice.
Yeah.
For me, like just speaking like regular season, SKT don't deserve it. Like every game that like Longzhu played over Summer, except for one series, they look like they could have won it. If the exception of the second last series Longzhu played against KT, they looked like they were definitely like.
Yeah, they looked a bit lost there.
Yeah, that series they definitely got slapped. Like they definitely looked pretty lost against like Score played amazing that series. Smed played amazing. They did not look like themselves. But aside from one bad series, they played phenomenal all split, and I don't think any other team can really say in their losses they looked as good as Longzhu did. So that'd be my bet as well.
And what about you, Cho?
I think the best thing that Longzhen as an organization did was get rid of Busboy, who was a fucking garbage coach.
That was
Like-
such a painful year of him.
He was
And
so
as
fucking
you'll-
bad.
Yeah.
Like, he made me want to kill myself, like stab myself to death with a fork.
Holy
like-
shit.
He went to Brazil, and his team is like, I think 7th or something in Brazil.
Yeah,
which is
they are. Actually, I saw it.
Fucking makes you think. really makes you think. But I think like Longzhu, considering they lost a Song who went to Immortals, and look at how Immortals are doing pretty well. I think their coaching staff with Hirai have done a really good job. They managed to integrate their rookies pretty well, because BDD and Khan, they managed to make them work with Prey and Gorilla. I think a lot of credit goes to that, and an honorable mention would be the SKT coaching staff, because they didn't have that slump, but SKT is SKT, and mainly because of that peanut blank strategy that they have, which it's pretty unique. I think any other team in the world has that, but yeah, number one definitely the Longzhu coaching staff.
I'm actually going to give it to something outside Korea. I'm going to give it to the Chinese coaching staff. For managing to give so many fans fucking false hope that SKT would not go to Worlds and would lose.
So did you say WE coaching staff?
LPL coaching staff, yeah, not just WE, LPL. For managing to tilt so many Korean teams over a space of a week.
Backstabbers.
I mean, honestly, it managed to give so many people false hope over the course of maybe 4 weeks. It was fucking hilarious for those 4 weeks. So many people were like, "Oh, SKT aren't going to Worlds. SKT are slumping. SKT aren't going. Woohoo!" Waving their backs around. You two waving your dicks in there. And
Chinese bullers.
like, legitimately, channel like it was just all these people were so we're sitting saying SKT are done. This is it. They can't do anything anymore. Faker's tilted. Bang's tilted. Bang's getting fanged. Oh, look what China Power did. But clearly it didn't work. So I'm also gonna give it to actually gonna give it to SKT. I cannot deny Youngzu's amazing coaching staff managing to pull Khan, Cuz, and BDD together. I feel like Prey and Grill made it a lot easier than potentially it would have been with another team. I feel like if you have Prey and Gorilla, who are very good at doing that, very friendly atmosphere, two players who are really open to working with other players and are really friendly to other players and are willing to accommodate them, I don't think it's as hard to integrate rookies as it would be in another team. Well, I think SKT recognizing how to solve for problems and making the decision to bench Huni basically for most of the split takes a lot of balls and a lot of guts, and I have huge respect for him for doing it. So I have to give it to SKT just simply on that fact.
I think that's a really good point you brought up about Prey and Gorilla too. They for sure they definitely helped bring those guys up into spec with their kind of standards, I guess. So that's a good point as well.
Yeah, it's because I've seen a recent article actually about how it was Prey working with Peanut, I think. Peanut found him kind of scary, I think the article said. So Peanut, Prey went and got a same t-shirt that Peanut wore and tried to, get to know him a bit more and work with him a bit more. I think that kind of attitude in teammates is going to bring you places regardless. You're breaking down barriers, you're making friends, you're not trying to stay enclosed like a lot of teams do, where players don't really know each other and don't really interact with each other. You can live in a gaming house all day and treat it as professional as you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't like each other and don't know each other, you're not going to trust each other in game. But yeah, that was basically, I said, I'm going to give it the SKT, so yeah.
Cool. Who would you guys say your MVPs were for the year?
MVP?
Yeah.
Tough. I mean, in the standings, current BDD is tied for first place. I would probably give it to either one of them. I mean, support role is kind of undervalued because you don't really see many supports getting MVPs as much as the other roles do. But I'll probably have to give it to. I want to say BDD because he was really good this split, but I also want to say Kura because he was actually 1v9ing most of the season, and was just trying to drag his dead teammate's corpse through the finish line. So I'll just say Kura because of that one reason of him 1v9ing in those Africa games.
What about you, Jason? What do you think? Who would be your MVP?
I thought that in general, a lot of players really impressed me this year. Putting points aside, I don't really like how they do the MVP standings in Korea. I think that's the one thing they need to work on. It's just because you get points for a game or whatever, it shouldn't always be like having someone tie for first seemed pretty cop out to me. I thought what you were saying with Kuro was really good. He played the most champions in all of his MVP games out of anybody else, like in the top 10. But I'm gonna have to give it to BDD. His stats were ridiculous. He had a average 11.38 KDA. The next closest mid lane was Pawn on 5.99, and he puts up almost 80% kill participation. And he had so much pressure on the map. He is playing Talia, his Galio, Orianna, like all three of those. He put so much pressure on the map with Galio and Talia that just made his team crush any lane. That just, I don't think you can disputably say that any other player could impact the team as much as he did.
What about you, Cho? Who's your MVP?
Yeah, it's a tie between BDD and Kuro. I just think Kuro is more important to Afrika, because if Afrika didn't have Kuro, they would be like, they would be like maybe even in relegations. Like Kuro and Kramer are basically carrying that team because topside is literally inting every game. And when you need to take that into consideration when you like look at who is the MVP. But like BDD, if you look at solely stats, he definitely had a more impressive split. I can't really decide between the two. I kind of want to give it to Kuro just to trigger people, but I think I'm gonna have to go with BDD because overall, like, you know, being 18 years old and playing in LCK is a lot more impressive in my opinion.
Okay. I'm actually not going to go with BDD just due to the fact I can't really have MVP. Yeah, Kuro is going to be my MVP. Now, BDD has given me so much fucking hype about him that, see, if you came into the split telling me that you did not believe he would perform well, then you're lying to yourself and lying to everyone else. There was so much hype about him. There was so much word spread. Next coming of Faker, there was so much said about him that I can't justify him being MVP. I would have to give it to Kuro, who has been, let's keep in mind, getting abuse from Rox Tigers, from his Rox Tigers days. That, oh, he's terrible, he's getting smacked by Faker, oh, he's the worst player in Rox Tigers, to now having to literally carry a freak of freaks, showing that he is actually a standout mid laner in the league. You know, that sort of way. In my opinion, I think Kuro brings much more to a team than BDD does. BDD, I think it's not that he's overhyped. I just think his expectations were so high on him that he matched them, and the fact that he matched them doesn't make it as impressive for me. So I'm going to give it to Kuro just because he carried a freak of freaks, basically, as Cho said. You know, with the top side of his map, emptying their asses off.
Hell yeah, dude.
Okay, next topic, I guess then. We'll go into toilet issues.
Oh, toilet issues. Oh, let's get hyped.
Recently this has been a kind of disputed topic on like Reddit and in the community and stuff like that about how it was Samsung, right? The Samsung series?
Yeah, Samsung.
Yeah, QV wanted to use the bathroom pretty much. And since there's been 2 more cases of people using the bathroom during a game, which seems pretty weird out of nowhere. Like, in like how many years of watching LCK, I've never seen this happen. Like, I don't know, it's pretty bizarre to me. I just kind of want to hear what your guys' opinions are.
Okay.
I mean,
sorry, go
you
ahead.
want to go first, Bets?
No, you
Okay.
can go first. You can go first. Ladies first, you know.
Thank you very much, my good sir. First of all, with the QA toilet issue, I mean, who wouldn't want to get toilet issue when you're getting fucking smacked around by SKT's top laner, who's pretty inconsistent? I mean, QV was once considered one of the best top laners last year, between Summer Split and Worlds 2016, and it was true that he was one of the best top laners out there, if not, at one point, people considered him the best, though I do not agree with that statement. I think that the bathroom breaks are justified, and though they shouldn't be abused, they should also be allowed with limitations, because I think those bathroom breaks incidents happen during playoff games in NA and LCK, if I'm correct. It was between Dig and C9 where Jensen had a medic request, and then I think Adrian went to a bathroom break or something like that. I reckon in those high-pressure games, bathroom breaks should be allowed for playoffs only, but not for regular season. Just because the immense the pressure that you might feel during those playoffs matches could be, too much to take in, and you need to take a break to bathroom break, whatever you need to do. I don't have any other point, but just to say it should be, it's allowed, but except with limitations. That's it. And just because of those high pressure conditions.
What about you, Joe? What's your opinion on the bathroom breaks?
I think a lot of people undervalue how important momentum is in League of Legends. Like, tempo is a really big thing. Like, you win a team fight, you get Baron, and you keep pushing. It's very important to keep maintaining that high tempo.
Yes.
And I remember that, like, many times before. I don't know which game it was, but I remember watching it was like NALCS or ULCS or LCK, where like a team would have the momentum, the tempo, like a big advantage. Then there would be like a long pause, like 20 minutes pause. Then the game would get resumed, and the other team would just get clapped. Like that's a pretty big issue with these bathroom breaks. Like teams can lose focus if the pause is really long. Like in the case of Jensen, he had a panic attack. That's justifiable. Trick is, Aquaman. He drinks like so much water. There might be like a water shortage in Berlin, like very soon. And I don't know what the deal with QA is, but like in those cases, the breaks were justifiable. But you kind of bring up the issue where what happens when players abuse like these bathroom breaks to completely halt the enemy team's momentum. Like that's when you get into kind of a gray area where you might be losing and the other team's winning. Like Splice, for example, versus G2, like they were winning that game. Then look, Trick needs to go pee. Then everyone else from G2 needs to go pee, and then Splice were like, oh, okay, let's just sit here for like 15 minutes with our thumbs up our asses and doing absolutely nothing. I think that's a thing that the referee needs to like be on the lookout for, because like if a team has a relatively big lead and like the momentum advantage of the other team, I don't think you should allow a bathroom break, because then the game's gonna be over anyway. Then you can go take a shit. But like, yeah, it's a very tricky issue to honestly get a concrete conclusion for, in my opinion.
Okay. I reckon they should have limitations. Like they shouldn't do it after 20 minutes or maybe after 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
because that's when things starts getting hype. So yeah, that was it.
So,
whoa.
From what I'm aware, I have a couple of issues with the bathroom break thing. The EU1 and G2, Weldon actually published a statement on Reddit about this. I don't know if any of you actually seen it in the thread about Trick going for a bathroom break. The LCS had introduced a rule before the game, players are all required to go to the bathroom. Since then. And it's been forced G2 players to have to go twice before the game starts. So, yeah. Trick genuinely was apparently guzzling water before that series, like as you said, Aquaman. So, yeah, I think the breaks are a bit ridiculous at times. Like, I don't think there's cases like Jensen's panic attack, which it needs to be addressed. You know what I mean? Like, it needs the you need to pause in that sort of scenario. But there's times like that QV game where. Like, he either just realised he was on game 3 and just shit himself on stage, or, I don't know, maybe he realised the crown was getting absolutely smacked around, or he's seen that his mid-laner CS was so much slower in comparison to Fakers, that he just shit the bed. I don't know. I think stuff like that's ridiculous, and I don't think players should be able to do it. If it's for legitimate medical reasons, sure. If a player, make players wear diapers on stage or some shit, it doesn't really matter at that point, Like, it's just a bit ridiculous. Like, legitimate medical reasons, go for it. Non-legitimate, like pissing or shitting, go fuck yourself and play the game. Like, it doesn't matter. Momentum's so fucking important.
Yeah, like, this isn't even like a new issue. Like, for example, 2 years ago, I think it was Complexity versus Curse. Like, Boy got really sick and he had to use the bathroom. Like, I think he had to puke or something. Like, that's a justifiable reason, for example.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to go take a shit, like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like.
I think a really good point, too, is it's hard to decide what's a dead ball, essentially, right? Like, what's a dead play? What is something that is, if you go and pause the game right now, you can't say something will happen in the next minute or two. And let's say, like, Team A pauses to go to the bathroom, and Team B obviously knows that they're nowhere around them, and they can try and, like, think of something. Obviously, like, you can't talk during pauses, but they can plan for... Okay, so obviously they're not around, so clearly they know that they wouldn't be doing an objective or doing something. So it almost can give the, like, it could skew the results of the game just because you have to use the bathroom. They give you time between games for, like going
to the bathroom and such.
Well, not going to I don't think it's mainly for going to the bathroom. It's definitely for, like, other things.
Stuff,
but much. If you take an extra minute to go to the bathroom, I don't think it's a big deal. and I think that they should unless it's extreme cases where like you're gonna throw up, you should definitely not throw up on stage and go. But 3 times in 1 week is definitely pretty sad.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme, honestly. Yeah, I said if you're gonna vomit, bring a bucket on stage. There you go, problem solved.
Dude, just bring a bottle and
If
just stick it down there.
And just run over to the other team's like table and just all over it.
No, get a bucket, and then if you beat them, just throw a vomit over them. Problem solved. Get some of that banter on. You know what I mean? Teams are basically, teams that get absolutely shit on anyway. The term is getting shit on. Why not add vomit to the mix? Just throw vomit over them. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Moving to our final topic, I guess.
Well, more so a
yeah,
sure. More of a Q&A session, I guess.
Yeah. So we're just gonna.
Wait, did we talk about the Challenger Series?
No, I guess we did.
Yeah.
Did you guys keep up with the Challenger Series, the final last night? Because that was a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, interesting.
Between Kong Doom and CJ.
Kong Doom.
Who
won?
Did anyone else watch it? Or
I missed
No,
it.
I
Everybody
watched
just watched the ending.
I didn't watch it.
Okay.
It was 2-2 last time I saw it. So.
I mean, that 5th game, if no one saw the ending, go to Reddit now and just click on the front page, because it was pretty clown fiesta. I mean, CJ had like 1 tower up with 0 towers up, and then Kongdu was like way ahead of them in objectives, but they managed to fuck it up somehow. So it's pretty interesting to watch. But anyway, going back to the Challenger Series in LCK, the 4 teams that was actually top 4 of the Challenger Series was CJ, Kongdu, Griffin, and APK Prince. And I mean, Griffin, APK Prince, they've never made it or qualified into the LCK, so they're off the list. But Kongdu and CJ, honestly, I was watching the whole CJ throughout the whole Challenger Series, and I was hoping for them to actually just 3-0 Kongdu, but
Jesus
I mean,
Christ, what am I watching?
Exactly right. The ending. I mean, if you look at Veritas, the unicorn Veritas came out last night in that game 3 or 4 or whatever it was, and he was just inting. He was just like doing jack shit. But that ending, if you saw that ending, you just want to rethink, for a second, how Koreans can be at this low level of gameplay.
What
It's impossible to watch this.
This is that.
I mean, okay, besides the casters being, ruining your ears and stuff, but that game, the 5th game, was just fiesta all around. Kongdu was just... I expected Kongdu to win, but CJ somehow, pulled their inner old self and just...
Guardian, what the fuck is this?
Like, the moment CJ won that game, I wanted to yell at CJ the way Cloud Templar did, like, on caster. I just really wanted to shout it out, but then, I mean, I'll go to prison for, abusing language, because CJ is a fucking taboo name nowadays. But it's just so clown fiesta. I loved it. It was so horrible that you have to love that series and love that ending.
I feel bad for MC. MC went from StarCraft to this. Poor guy.
This is legitimate, like some proper bronze tier in the game. This is everyone screaming, hit the Nexus, and then you have one cunt who's just hitting the enemy champions. That's what this is. This is just that there's someone. There was one of the Koreans who said, "Jesus, just hit the fucking Nexus," and this zoning some guy off of Nexus is zoning some guy. What the fuck? How did they lose this game?
I know, it's impressive how much they threw,
This is... like... Herbs couldn't have scripted this game. Herbs could not have scripted this game.
Dude, that was some flame right there. Holy.
This is written by... This is actually what Guardian writes in his spare time. He writes these Challenger Korean games.
Yeah, I mean, I got a document of it, but I deleted it after the last match because, it was just everything that I learned about Korean Challenger Series last night just went out the door. It's like, it's impossible. You can't predict that shit. It's just holy. Okay.
Do you guys think any team's gonna be relegated?
Yeah, barbecue. Yeah. Let's go, boys. CJ back in. Let's fucking go, dude.
CJ back in after what? Oh, fuck off, Guardian.
I mean, please.
More on Kongdu than CJ.
Kongdu. Yeah, Kongdu's gonna follow that script. Like spring they come back in, someone to get relegated. It's like that script, but CJ, please don't break my heart again. I mean, Samsung's already let me down. I mean, the Samsung fan base is already pretty, question mark, what? So yeah, I'm hoping that CJ can, pull this shit together after that Clown Fiesta game and beat Kim's team.
Yeah.
And Oliver's.
I'm just gonna say EW out, Candy in, CJ don't deserve in, Candy's gonna get
CJ
fucking.
in.
Candy's gonna get fucking ate by every other. Like, Candy's just gonna get fucking destroyed. Like, Temp will beat Candy. Like, honestly, CJ won't get in. Like, I mean, look at that final game. Like, look at that final game, and tell me, look me right in the fucking eyes, and tell me CJ will get into LCK.
CJ will make it. I mean, like, Veritas. Okay, I just like talking about Veritas because you know he was an OC for like a bit, so I have to talk about him because he's a good guy.
Wait, he played in OCA.
Yeah, he did for
Jesus
like
fucking, you expect him to get into LCK?
I mean, it's a big accomplishment for our region, you know. You're like from the trash region with and then Veritas who's in relegations in Korea, so like, you know, it's a pretty big step for OC. Jokes were fucking memed. So yeah, CJ win.
I think both teams could make it into the LCK, like both CJ and Kong do, because BBQ and Ever are pretty bad.
They were underwhelming. They were underwhelming for me. Yeah.
Like maybe Malorad and Septon managed to carry like versus one of the teams, but I don't know. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah. What are your thoughts if you guys want to make any comments?
I don't think Ever or Barbecue really look like LCK teams, so I think that it's definitely going to be it'll just be like essentially
CJ.
Essentially, LCK was
like
just
an LPA team.
It was 10 teams, but it was really only 8, and then those 2 challenger teams got to play in LCK this year.
It's like that promotion, you know, at the end of the year. Holy shit, I got promoted by the boss. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that it could be anyone's shot. It'd be cool to see CJ in. Ever 8 winners can go away. Coach Kim does not. No fleece cheer for Ever 8 winners here.
Please cheer for Ever 8 winners.
How hard do you think Veritas was PTSD in? Imagining UOL team fighting in that very last game. Like, I mean, do you reckon he just imagines Sheepy just like rubbing his shoulders with yeah, game team fighting, run it down mid, game team fighting, you know,
alrighty,
and move, you know.
So let's move on to the QA and then we'll close up.
Q&A? Okay, cool. Okay, let's see.
Wait, Jason,
all
you
right.
can give us. Oh wait, no, you did.
Yeah, everyone else talked about it
Q&A
but me.
question.
So all the Q&A questions are on Discord. So I'm not Discord, sorry, on Twitch. So I'm just gonna read them out from the start. So
Okay.
First questions are: will Crown come back out of his slump? It's not a slump. He's just garbage. Next.
Oh,
wait,
you know what? I'll let you have
Guardian?
your point. I'll let you have your point.
Uh,
I'm cultured. I will stay silent.
Chill. What's your opinion on this?
I mean, sure, he can come out of his slump, but will he? That is the question. It's up to him, really, and him alone.
I think we need to send Crown to NA or Europe and then come back to Korea. Maybe he'll improve some. You know,
Yeah, like
maybe he'll come out
Spirit.
of his like Spirit, or you know, like Frozen, who's definitely going to come back as an absolute fucking beast coming back from Turkey. You know, Move, who's going to come back as the redeemed god of the jungle. You know, like
TCL.
You know, with
TCL boys.
Turkey's got his caps came from Turkey, you know, and people are calling him the greatest EU mid of all time. Fucking meme. Anyway, no, I think Crown is not coming back. That's him done. You know, get ambition in the mid game. You know.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I reckon if he does practice a lot of solo queue, but I'm just hoping that he's able to translate his great solo queue performance on stage, and I believe he'll come back. I still have that faith in him, just because, you know, hoping he comes back and he doesn't suck massive shit in the gauntlet against the other teams. Let's see what else.
Next.
I feel like.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, as in for Crown, I feel like. I got a feeling the assassin meta is coming back. Like all this talent and Z thing. I just have a hinge. Correct me if I'm wrong, because like, you know, I'm only silver, so just correct me. But I feel like it's going to come back slowly in, and then he'll just get completely shit on for that bit, unless he, you know, starts learning like what happened after Worlds, where he just spams Syndra and Cassiopeia for like days on ends. So I do believe he'll come back.
All right.
But when? I have no idea.
No idea. Did you say Cho?
I said that he can come back, but honestly, it's up to him and him alone.
Okay, roster moves. That's a vague question. Just says roster moves ? So we'll skip that one. What KT needs to beat SKT? I think even though Score is fantastic, he cannot beat SKT.
No, you just take score out and then you win. Don't worry.
I feel like they need to find a solution for what score gets tilted at SKT because he is the only consistent factor to them losing to SKT.
Why not get a jungle sub like what SKT has? You know,
Yeah,
do the same thing.
That'd be a really good idea. I think that they need to find. I think it comes down with score ultimately.
I mean, if you go 2-0 with KT with score, right, and then the third game is like the deciding game, you just sub in the new jungle, and then his pathing will be unpredictable if you've never seen him play in playoffs, you know?
I actually don't think score is the overall problem here for KT. In terms of beating SKT, I think it's a general breakdown of communication in that team that leads to a kind of questionable positioning and questionable vision control as well. Yeah, Smed definitely drunk alone after that series. Deft was definitely kicked out of the team house to sleep on the street. I mean, getting caught out on Stiffer in mid was pretty impressive. Yeah, I think it's a case of communication. There's definitely a bit of conflict on that team of, you know, we're all so veteran players that there's definitely some conflict of interest going on here between people of what they should be doing at certain times. Well, SKT seems to work more as a unit where they have the actual structure of who is going to tell who where the fuck to be and where the fuck to go. And I don't think KT has that same trust in each other yet. Whenever they get that same trust and eventually build it, sure they'll be able to beat the SKT, but no doubt they'll lose to someone else. Probably Samsung somehow.
Oh, I pray, but it's not gonna happen.
No,
if they don't go to Worlds.
Yeah. That's because they'll never have faith in each other, you know. Smith drinking alone. I'd love to see Mata's drinking though for a month, honestly, because I'd be fucking guzzling vodka in his position.
Jesus Christ.
I would be pawn, ruin, back. Now, he can't say he fucking damaged his back carrying, because he didn't carry fuck all. You know, there's nothing he was carrying. Mata, guzzling vodka, Deft, too busy hugging llamas, or alpacas. Score, too busy polishing an empty trophy case. And Smed, too busy jerking off the peanut stream. Like, that's my comments on it.
I don't disagree.
Joe?
I think KT should get a better mid laner and maybe even a new coaching staff, because like that game versus SKT, they disappointed me really hard. They completely undervalued Justana. Like, they never picked her, and then they banned her very late. They did pick Kalista. That's something, because she's a really strong AD carry on this patch, but like, I don't know why they never picked Justana. It's like, don't tell me Deft can't play Tristana. It's not like a hard champion to play. It takes like 0 brain power.
Whoa.
They also overvalued Zac a lot of the times. Like, I remember, I forgot which game it was, but there was like, KT was first pick. They first picked Zac, and the camera showed Kokoma, and he was like laughing his ass off. Like, idiots. You walked into my trap. So like, I don't know, maybe something there, but you know, it feels really bad because you look at the players and they're like, oh wow, this team should be number 1, and then they choke in the end, which is quite a shame.
Okay.
On to the next question.
Next question's how the mid lane matchup going to go. I think he means tonight.
Between tonight?
Yeah.
I think so. Just it's like a vague question. I'm just gonna say.
I'll say even.
I say BDD. We'll show Faker what BDD means.
If Peanut's playing, BDD will win because Peanut doesn't know how to camp mid. If Blank's playing, BDD will get absolutely bodied because the power of B, you know, the will of B. So, yeah.
Boy.
Rip Joe. Is Joe dead?
Joe.
No, I'd say it depends on the matchup, really.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's hard to say. They're both like honestly really really good mids, so it's hard to say
Yeah.
which
But
ones.
with that jungle pressure, I'd probably say even or more so to Faker's side.
Yeah.
With that jungle, that's one with that jungle pressure though, because you want to go fair and square, all gentlemen's agreement in the mid lane.
Wow, that's never gonna happen.
True.
What next question then is which pocket pick will MVP bring out to win the gauntlet?
Sion.
We're gonna bring out the cheeky Arab trap card.
That was my answer too.
The Herbs trap card.
I
Yeah,
don't think MVP is gonna win gauntlet, but I think Max will bring something out. He always brings out like he made Blitzcrank like shown to be strong and competitive again. He's really smart in that respect. I probably would say he's my like most respected player on MVP. I'd like to see Sion. Sion support's fun to watch in pro play.
I'm going to say we're going to put out the Cheeky Arabs trap card and send our top laner Midian, and he's going to play Galio.
Don't mention that. I don't think half of the people watching will get what you mean, because that was such a shit link.
But as a serious thing, I would love to see Max play some more spicy pocket picks, honestly. I love the guy. Like, he's such a fucking meta monster. I have a huge respect to him. So, yeah, I want to see him picking up some stuff, you know. I know it's not that new, but, you know. Yeah, that's my opinion, like. What about you, Joe?
I don't think it matters, really. It's not like MVP can win.
Oh.
Agreed.
Oh.
Like, they can bring out any pocket pick they want. It just doesn't matter. They're just undermatched in every single matchup.
They already exhausted their minerals in Spring Split. It's over.
Like, I know you're in deep shit when you can't even cheese a game.
Alright, that's a good one too. Next is quick LCS predictions. I think you just mean like
Playoffs.
Playoffs. I think it's gonna be Immortals versus TSM finals. I think Immortals is gonna win, and I think Dig will be third seed.
For NA, I will go Immortals first place, TSM second, and Dignitas going to Worlds. Now, here's the thing, and EU, right? I'm gonna go. G2 are gonna come first, right?
Whoa.
Now.
Oh, big balls.
Here my reasoning for this. Okay, we've all seen Dag and Falco's coaching in Immortals. Coaching in Immortals. Okay, now we've all seen how hard Immortals have got fucked every single playoff series, right? When they had him as a coach. So as Lucian top, Caps is going to get camped by Trick, for starters, and he's going to tilt, just like Rift Rise was over again. Reckless is going to show that he is an overhyped passive ADC. And that's what's... And guesses, I'm going to lead the team to victory, guys. So I was going to be like, I'm going to get some sick outplays and expect. What the fuck are you going to do when you're mid-laner 0-7? Perks is going to prove that shit. Bring out the Yasuo and clap this kid. That's my prediction. 3-2 to G2. I'm going for it. Fnatic second seed, and I'm going to throw H2K in for third because that's a safe option.
Good.
But I would like to see Misfits because for some reason I just have this absolute hate boner for watching Prolly's teams get smacked in playoffs in any best of series. I just have such a hate boner for it. It's just you see this coach, you know, we're prepared well, we're a great macro team, and then you see us do the same mistakes every split. Shit team fighting, bad barons, and it's just beautiful to watch. It's like art, you know, you just can't look away. You just want to look at it forever. And NA, I said alright, different reflections for NA. So yeah.
Really quick, I forgot EU. I will be saying G2 is... Fnatic will win, G2 second, and hopefully Misfits third seed. That's what I say. That's what I'm hoping for. And then you guys go. Sorry. My bad.
For me, I mean, I gotta say Fnatic because I got the merchandise. But otherwise, if any G2 sponsors out there want to change my mind, please send it to my DMs. I'll say Fnatic. I'll say Fnatic first. I'm hoping for H2K second. To be honest, I'm so sick and tired of just seeing them choke in playoffs. They're such a good team, but Yankos is just Yankos is just gonna yank off their fucking. Okay, that was really bad, sorry. But Yankos is just gonna destroy the chances of playoffs again. I feel like that's the way it's gonna be.
I've said it a couple of times, Guardian. Fevin and the rest of HGK are probably must be on those E-boys because he's definitely choking on some fucking dick at night, honestly. Like, there's no other way HGK can choke as hard as they are without them at least gargling some dick at night.
I don't want to see Misfits in the top 3 though, I'm so sorry, but I don't feel like they were consistent enough previously to actually earn that top 3 spot as compared to G2, H2K, and Fnatic as of now.
What about you, Cho? NA, Guardian? NA?
Oh, NA? I mean, I don't want TSM to win, but I've got a feeling that they're going to smash a dig, probably 3-1 or 3-2 at least. I don't think it's going to be 3-0. So Immortals will win against... Who are they up against? CLG?
Right? CLG,
yeah, they'll probably 3-1 or 3-2. I don't think any of the series is going to be 3-0, to be honest. But, yeah... I see Immortals winning the split, and then TSM second, and Dig being third. That's it.
Joe?
Yeah, I think Immortals are gonna beat CLG in the semis because CLG has Omar God and he's really bad, really bad.
Oh.
I want Dignitas to beat TSM. I just don't think it's gonna happen. So the finals are gonna be Immortals versus TSM. I think Immortals has a good chance of actually beating TSM. I think it's gonna be a close series. I want Immortals to win, but we'll see. And for EU, I expect Fnatic to beat Misfits. Misfits looked good, but it was versus UOL, so that doesn't count.
Whoa.
Hey.
I expect G2 or H2K to be G2. Like G2 struggled versus Splice, who didn't even have a coach. That's pretty sad. And in the finals, I expect H2K to beat Fnatic and take the first seed. Then I don't know, G2 second, Fnatic third, or something like that.
See, I think EU teams are working this reverse logic right now. If they don't have coaches to do better, like Fnatic beat H2K, fucking 3-0, wasn't it? The H2K.
Yeah.
Then they went to go. Was it 3-2 against G2 or was it 3-1?
3-1.
3-1 because Reckless choked on fucking Sven's dick. 10 twist. He got sprayed and Sven sprayed and prayed all his semen all over his fucking face.
Dude!
Jesus. Like honestly, I don't know. I think Space, like from what all the other pros are saying, Space, definitely, were a bit better than expected. Honestly, I think there was a lot of pro players talking about Space being very good. Yeah, that's my final comment. Not.
Alright, so I think that's it for questions. I don't see any more.
Wait. Christopher, where was I? Wait, no, actually, it isn't.
I think that was the last one.
Oh no, who's the most handsome person in the LCK Discord?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with me.
Okay.
Wait, who the fuck are you?
Top tier. I'm Bjergsen's twin, and
Yeah, his deformed twin.
Have you not seen Cho? Yeah, Cho is like a visual god right there.
No, we haven't seen Cho. That's the thing.
I'm going to.
You have. You just don't know it yet.
Oh.
Oh, dude, you could be Omar God for all we know.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Don't insult me, dude.
Oh. Yeah, Cho's actually just like a super popular person.
Omar God, more like Omer Mortal.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
We found a new freak. Fuck.
Couldn't done. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Jason's cat. You know.
Oh yeah, my cat. It's his birthday today, guys.
Happy birthday, Jason's cat.
Text her
Happy birthday
one.
to your cat.
It's a good one.
No.
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 Like the cat doesn't even know it has a birthday. It's a fucking cat. All it cares about is eating, sleeping, and shitting.
And Pound
Holy, the
also
realism is out there, boys.
and Pound also asked, "Well, Ambition, Mata, etc. retire this year. Keep going. Do you think anyone in LCK will retire this season?"
No, I see Ambition is. I don't know about Ambition. I mean, that guy's question mark sometimes, but I reckon Mata's gonna get married next year.
I reckon
yeah.
Mata's too busy married to his money, honestly, more so than marrying women.
I don't know if anyone's gonna get retired this year.
Like people keep saying Bang and Wolf if they win another Worlds, but like I don't know.
I don't know about that. They get free money. Well, I wouldn't say free money, but they get so much money off that. You know, every year in streams too.
Yeah.
And Hasapin asked tits or us. The classic question.
Sorry, I have no idea what those are.
Yeah. You speak New England, yeah?
Yeah, I don't speak England.
I
speak communism.
As a man of culture, I can appreciate either, you know? That's where I'll leave it.
Man of culture.
But yeah. There we go. That's my
Just before we end this, I just want to ask the viewers if you guys would rather have shorter podcasts but more frequent ones, like what Herb suggested, or would you rather have like one long one every single week?
Yeah, it's
like what we have now. Like every weekend we have like 1 hour and a half long podcast. Would you like it to be more frequent, like every 3 or so days, but like keep it 45 minutes or 1 hour short?
Yeah, this actually went
Yeah.
about 20 minutes longer than I was hoping it would.
Yeah.
But I'd like to say about an hour and a half would be an average length, hopefully. But we'll have to look into formatting after this, I think.
Yeah.
We'll have to read comments and such. But from that, I think we're pretty much done here. I'd like to wrap up. Make sure to join our Discord if you have not joined it yet. Follow us on Twitter. Follow our YouTube channel. We will be uploading any of our... If you miss any podcasts, we'll be uploading them there. And maybe other content too. Be sure to follow any of our own socials, which are all linked on the video. And until next time, thank you for watching.
One last note, DM criticism to either of us, and we'll get around and we'll all talk about it and stuff and see how to make it better. Or you can write in Discord chat or in Twitch chat, and we will read it. No guarantee in Twitch chat if we'll read it, because it's Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Discord and DMs is definitely the best way to go about it. Or Twitter, if you prefer to be anonymous. So, thanks guys.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you all.